Sinakwe, here we are once again. Kaikoura Paua season 2, it's on. Using the roller gun today. I wasn't really planning on taking the spear gun, but we just talked to a fella up there in the parking lot. Oh geez, look at this. And the fella in the parking lot says the water's pretty good. And when the water is good in Kaikoura, you're going to make sure that you take advantage of it. Geez, I'm going to fall over down here.
It's not often I use those Scuba Pro Seawing Nova fins, but in this particular instance I decided to use it. There's a lot of rocks to climb over. And I have to just mention at the start here that this is the kind of first outing of the GoPro Hero 11 Black Mini camera, because what happened recently was my GoPro Hero 5 bricked itself. Been looking for a similar camera with a similar sort of form factor. You can see it up the top of my mast there. The Hero 11 Black Mini, it produces quite a good picture. And in this video I had it set to super view, so it gives a very, very wide angle, a little bit too wide. So yeah, I went back to regular wide angle for the next video. So this is the first outing of the Wetty roller gun. It's the Wetty Reef Pro. It's the first time I've used this. In this video I didn't pull the trigger, so I didn't actually shoot a fish, so that's kind of a spoiler. I didn't really see anything decent worth shooting. And you'll see here that I'm actually unwinding my line winder, and a line winder, all that is just something that you can tie your float line up to. It sort of saves your float line from getting tangled on everything, and it's pretty simple to operate. You can just unwind it and set it to whatever length you want. So it's a 10-meter float line. I just set it to about 5 meters because I'm working in very, very shallow water here. Now this is the exact spot where earlier on in February this year I dived with Rangi. And if you recall seeing in that video, I mentioned this exact specific spot. There are Pauas everywhere. I think it's been hammered a little bit though. There's a lot of very marginal sized Pauas here. As you can see, I'm starting to uplift them and have a look, and it's like, oh, that one's just sort of barely reaching the legal size. But there are big ones, and it's just a case of having a look. Don't try and pull up too many. There you go, see, that's a pretty big, decent sized Paua. This is the spot where Rangi and I dived earlier in the year, and if you go a little bit further out and you dive a little bit deeper, there are crays out there. Rangi found a cray last time. I wasn't really in the cray searching, looking for a mood. The water is actually a little bit rougher than what it appears to be in the video here. And the other thing was that I was diving alone, and whenever I'm solo diving, I stay well within, my comfort zone. Geez, even here in the shallows, I'm getting hooked up and tangled up in my own float line here. I would rather stay within my comfort zone and stay, safe, rather than trying to push the boundaries just to go for a crayfish. I'd like to get a cray one day though. It'll happen one day. So there's another one in the bag there. It's sort of just big enough, that one. You are quite spoiled for choice along the Kaikoura coast, especially in the areas that haven't been absolutely obliterated by poachers, but most of the places that have paua have some pretty decent sized paua. It's not like other areas where, you know, you go through only 1 in 100 is legal. I mean, here you're talking, even the heavily hammered areas are reasonable in terms of what you're going to find. Just because I think that 5-year break really has helped the fishery a lot. You can see here I've got one in my hand, which is just very marginal, and then I scoop down and pull up another one. You have to really restrain yourself from doing this too much because you're spoiled for choice. There's so many of them there, and after pulling up one and then spotting a bigger one and then putting one back, it's like, okay, all right, let's not pull up 100 paua here. Let's just get the 3 and then move along. You know, don't be tempted. Don't be greedy. So there's the third paua in the bag. This particular paua season, if you happen to be watching this video years into the future, there is only a limit of 3 paua per day right now. I'm loading up the spear gun there, looking to do some shooting, maybe, possibly, actually no. And then the next day you can take another 3 with a total accumulation limit of 6. Now I started looking around for other things because I know that I've finished with the paua there. And I start finding kinners, but they're a bit small. And I haven't pulled up enough kinners to sort of learn yet that, alright, don't bother with the small ones, and if you are going to pull up small ones, you're better off using them as bait. That's what I should have done. I should have taken this kinner, crushed it up, smashed it up, used it as bait, and then try to lure in a bigger fish, or a better fish, something decent sized to shoot. Every year I try to give a couple of channel shout outs. So here we go with a couple of channel shout outs as we're snorkeling around and just having a look in this area looking for a fish to shoot. The first video that I'm going to shout out for this year is called Blue Neoprene, and this is Oscar. I don't actually know where he lives, but he dives up in the far north and around the Coromandel. And the thing I like about Oscar's videos is that he has an environmental sustainability message, and he's very well articulated, very well thought out. He puts a lot of thought into his videos. Like if you like the old Ollie Craig Reef Hunter, you should watch Oscar's videos. You should watch Blue Neoprene. The next channel is called NZ Wild Adventures, and this is a fella named Tasman who actually lives here in Christchurch. Tasman goes on some quite big trips, and it's a combination of hunting and fishing and diving all in the channel there. And you look at some of his trips and there are big trips. This one here in particular you see on the screen, a 12-day solo circumnavigation of Stewart Island. You should have a look at his channel. Earlier in February when I dived in this spot, I used the float boat and I had fish falling out of the float boat on the way out. So I opted to use the more old-fashioned bag and float, and then as I'm getting out of the water, I'm having to fight my way out because the bag and the float are getting caught on the seaweed behind me. But I finally make my way back to the rocks, and there's Coco waiting for me, and she's been scouting around as well and having a look for some paua in the shallow waters, because we're there right on the low tide and you can look in the shallows for your pauas as well.
I wonder if I should just take my fins off here.
There's one of those camera shots that you don't really think you'll ever use. You just throw your mask and snorkel in the bag and it's recording as you get out of the water. But there you go. There's a mask and snorkel inside of a catch bag. And so just about out of the water, and let's have a look here. We got our pauas and we've got our kinners. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this dive overall. It was a very, very modest dive. It was just a dive to get 3 pauas, and I wasn't expecting miracles. Just went in there with very, very modest expectations. It would have been nice to have a dive buddy with me on the day, but no such person was available.
Yeah.
Finishing up, we're just going to crack open a couple of these kinners. We're going to do it spiky gold hunter style, which is where you get your big metal tool and you smash the hell out of the thing, and it explodes into 2 pieces. And that's how they do it on spiky gold hunters. Thanks, Raymond. You showed me that one, Raymond.
Alright. How am I going to open it? That's how they do it on spiky gold hunters and on South Sea Spiro, you know. You just use a kinner rake and you go bang!
They are in the sea.
And it just explodes into 2 pieces. It's like, that's how you open a kinner. There we go. In this piece.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is actually not quite as bitter as previous kind of rose I've had.
Okay.
But we're going to go to a cool restaurant tonight and possibly have like a seafood burger or something like that. And then tomorrow we've got more diving. So stay tuned. More diving is coming. Paua diving in Kaikoura.